See the shelf behind me? Yeah, I want to redo it. So if you didn't know, I spend every single day pretty much thinking of how I would want to do my dream Lego display, and just thinking about that has made me want to do my existing Lego displays. Now, I'm really proud of some of the shelves and how they've been styled, and I'm really happy with a lot of it, but there is still so much of my setup that I feel like could really be improved on. And I think too, there's been a major trend recently that I've seen, especially on TikTok and Instagram, where it will be like a girl walking around her house and it's all like beige and clean and like really, really pretty, and then it will like have like the boyfriend corner basically, where it's like filled with all of his like hobby things, like his gaming consoles. Often I find that there's Lego in there too. It kind of gives off that like his stuff, I guess, is like a mess and just like not very good, like real Mojo Dojo Casa House Barbie movie type of thing. And I really think a lot of that comes from just the way that people are styling their shelves. Like I often see so many photos of people who just have so much stuff on their shelf at once, and it freaks me out. Like personally, massive pet peeve. If you've done that, yeah, I probably don't like your shelves. Look, I don't care if it's what you want to do, live your dream, but for me, it's not what I want to achieve at all. So let me talk you through my Lego display plan. Now, I have been really good with this, and I've been planning it all out and documenting it and like creating mood boards and everything. And I want to do this project properly, so let me walk you through it. So firstly, I have been using the app Milanote for this, which is like this really beautiful like drag and drop type of platform where you can like visualize everything. So I kind of compiled it all in this thing called collection display, which I guess you can see the overview here. It kind of just gives you a look at what I'm trying to do. And there are two sections to this. One is my current existing display setup, which I'll talk you through in a second. And then I've also got one of like my dream collection space, because I'm a dreamer, I'm a planner. I cannot wait for the day that I'm able to set that up. So I've been having a lot of fun in there too. One thing I really wanted to utilize was firstly photos of my own room. I wanted to have a reference image. So I took a bunch of photos on my camera and I imported them all into Milanote and just dragged them onto the board, so I had a really clear reference of what my shelves currently look like, so I can see the things that I like and see the things that I don't like. And I also pulled up swatches of all of my current pieces of furniture. And if you're wondering too how I actually got these color swatches, there's a color picker tool within it. So after I would place the photo, I would use the color picker tool and just like get the little swatch, and then from there I could just like copy and paste the hex code throughout the boards, because as you'll see, I've got a couple of boards that have the same color swatches between each one, so that was the easiest way for me to do that. So I've swatched all of them because in my opinion, I feel like you need to have a really neutral base for a Lego room, because there is so much color in the bricks and in the styling and like all of the other collectibles, that if you had a ton of like colorful furniture pieces, I really think it would take away from it and be too cluttered. If you look to the right though, you'll kind of see, I guess, like the before and what I want to be the after here. And I used a couple of reference images for this. This top one is actually a photo that I got off Instagram from my friend Nikki Bricks. She just did a room tour recently, and her boyfriend Noah's apartment is so beautifully styled, and this is exactly what I'm going for here. You want to have a really nice clean little setup. I also love the way that she's blended in a lot of collectibles, which you can also see in the other image down below, and that one's got a couple of Legos, a couple of Funko Pops, some art pieces, some Star Wars Black Series helmets. This I found off Instagram and I just downloaded it and again dragged it on. So this basically just serves as an overview here. But let's go into my current setup, because this is basically what I'm working with. I mean, firstly, I needed to set up my goals. So on this board, the main thing I wanted to use this one for is basically giving me a starting point of all of my favorite things in my collection that are currently on display, as well as some of my favorite sections. So like on the right here, I have a photo of all of my Rebels Black Series, but this shelf to me is the messiest and the most overcluttered. Like I have so much Rebel stuff that one, it takes up a whole shelf. Like there is not another Star Wars movie in my collection that has got its own designated shelf. So I really think I will have to sacrifice a couple of things I don't want to, but I think I'm gonna have to. There's also a photo of my Barbies. I'm really liking my top Barbie shelf. I don't really think I'm gonna do too much to that. So in the middle, there's a couple of other elements that I really like. I mean, the Ghost is one of them. I love that ship. We've also got like my Hera and Chopper bars. We've got my Star Wars Celebration minifigure, which is a Kallax shelf option. We've also got things like my Jabba's Palace, which I mean, you can kind of see in this photo that it kind of blends in to where I've put my Disney stuff, and it just doesn't seem like something that matches. Like I think that the Jabba's palace set needs to be with some of the other Star Wars merchandise. So if you haven't gathered already, I'm a very visual person. I mean, I have had like a Pinterest board of like dream house for years, which has been really good because I've been able to incorporate them and kind of drag them in when it comes to my dream collection space, which is really serving as kind of the inspiration and goals for what I'm trying to achieve. And this is my goal. Granted, I'm not going to be able to accomplish all of this in the space that I'm in currently, but this is really what I want to try and work with. So introducing the ultimate dream space. For example, like you see that photo of like the Lord of the Rings ones. My mom showed me this ages ago and I have not forgotten about it. You might also be able to see that the color palette here is like very typical, just like sad beige girl aesthetic. And I think it can look really nice. However, I also have a lot of bright and colorful things, and that's personally what I really like to do with my space. Like just looking at this and even looking at what I've got behind me, let the display and the collection really be that like pop of color. Now there is one photo of my own minifigure display, which is like my tiered display shelf, because I just think that makes the minifigures look fantastic. But even looking at this Star Wars Funko Pop display, like one, I really love the fact that it's mixed in with the green, again to like add a little bit of pop of color, but it's also not over cluttered, which I don't think is in really any of these pictures. Now a lot of these bits as well serves as like furniture inspiration, since this is literally like a mood board for when I want the space to be like. But just looking at the shelves, like you can just see how like nice and proper and neat everything is. Like there is nothing just like thrown on there. It is not over cluttered. Everything has a place, and that is my goal. So I also made myself like a little concept board which kind of elaborates on this further. Now again, I'm not going to be able to accomplish all of this. Like I'm not getting like that really nice like day bed that's there. I do like my bed, but that is something that I think would work really nicely in like a future Lego room or office. I've like grown really attached to the idea, but you can also see that I've like added the posters that I've already got in my room. If you watch my room tour, like you'll be familiar. I have these metal disc plate posters. So I clipped the photos using like the little Milanote browser extension that I have, and I've put them all inside this board so I can see all three of them side by side. And I haven't really finished this board. It's not as complete as the rest of them that I've made, because I think this is one that I'm going to continue to develop over time until I'm actually able to create my dream setup, like as much as I can kind of create my dream setup in terms of this room. Like it's not going to be the same thing. But the big key point here is this like section that I've got that says display sections, because another thing I really want to do is like separate out every single kind of theme and have them all grouped and like subgrouped. One of the first places I went though for inspiration was Pinterest, which I either clipped using the Milanote browser tool, or I just like downloaded the photos and dragged it in, because if I'm always going to Pinterest for a source of inspiration, being able to see kind of everything from all platforms was really important to me. A lot of the things I ended up saving were from my friend Jean's version. I love the way that she has done her shelves, and she is one of the people as well that kind of inspired me to incorporate like my Funko Pops and Black Series and other types of collectibles in with my Lego, because I think it looks really clean and her shelves are styled very nicely. Also, there is this little like dream furniture board. I guess I'll like show this to you very briefly. This is just like a very kind of long-term thing about like all of the things I would want in my kind of like ultimate dream collection space that like hopefully I get in like a couple of years time when I like move out or things like that. But yeah, for now everything kind of like ties together. Like I don't think it would be wildly different outside of the furniture that I was able to have in it. If you wanted to do a project like this and kind of share and update someone else on it, there is a share feature where you can kind of share all of your boards, but like this is kind of just a me project. Although I guess if you're doing something like planning out a video or like designing a house or whatever, like that would probably be helpful for you there. So this is really step one of this project. Like at this point I feel like I have got almost everything planned out. Like there's probably a few more things that I might add to these boards to just like really flesh it out, but it's given me a really strong idea of actually what I want to achieve. So over the next couple of weeks I want to focus on getting some like acrylic tiered stands, and also just being like really strict and culling things. Like I think I'm gonna have to break a couple of sets down and also just really figure out what is going on. Specifically with these two shelves, I cannot figure out what I want them to be. Like I bought an additional one from IKEA and slotted it in. I'm starting to think that I might have to take that out. If you have any suggestions just looking at my shelves of like ways that you think I could like categorize it, or stuff that maybe I should take away, please let me know in the comments down below, because I think it's gonna be a really hard thing to say no to some of my Lego and my Lego collection, but I want to really be strict at it because I want to document this whole process of like me fixing my shelves and making it look really pretty and like sorting my organization, because this is something that I'm really passionate about. In the meantime though, I'll make little updates on Instagram or at my live streams and things like that, because I'm really excited to undertake this project and cannot wait to see the finished result. It's going to be such a little minor thing, but I'm so picky with my shelves. I just want this thing to be absolutely perfect, and I also think having a little bit of a refresh is just going to be very nice. Don't forget to check out Milanote using the link in the description down below, and until next time guys, I'll see you later.